And some of the media was pouring in on Trump's head.
Major Democrats are dragged into it more so than Trump.
But what can you say about Marjorie Greene's stance against that she fell out with the president because of the Epstein file, because she pushed and voted for that? Is she a Democrat?
No.
Cliff's watching too much Boston TV. That's what Cliff's doing. Too much Democratic TV.
She's Marjorie Taylor Greene is being Marjorie Taylor Greene, and she said she'd step down from Congress in January, opening up her seat.
That's several days after she's vetted for a pension.
Exactly. She's hanging around for the.
Said before that openly the president campaigned against her, then that she was one of the president's strongest supporter. Just because of the Epstein file, they fell apart. So what I'm trying to say is, don't blame it on President Trump. It is the train of events that is blowing the wind.
Yep.
Ralph, give me that again about a pension.
I wish I had a big fat one, but
No, you said Marjorie Taylor. My takeaway from what you said was Marjorie Taylor Greene wait until January 5th so she can get her pension.
yeah, that's like, I don't know, 2 or 3 days after she was vetted and qualified.
So if she quit now, she'd get no pension.
She'll get, I don't know, I think it's
None.
80 or 90% of her salary.
No, you're
For life.
not. You're not hearing me, Ralph.
If she stepped down today, she'd get no pension.
And if she waits till January 5th,
Then she
Yep.
gets a pension.
she gets a full pension.
Yes.
God bless Congress. Thank you, Marty Man.
Oh, Marty's gone well beyond that.
I know, he's collecting it already. He's collecting his federal pension now.
Yeah, but
Marty's like my age. He's in his 70s. Easy.
when he retires from the state,
Let me ask Google.
you
Let me
better get
ask-
some sedatives.
How old is Marty Man?
Because it's going to be a whopper.
My wife found something in the news that Marty's got a huge campaign fund still. So
Why do you think Beacon Hill loves him?
Well, that could be. But speaking of resignations, I'm betting that President Trump will step down in January of 2028. I think by then his fund meter will be pegged, and he'll want to do something else.
I doubt it. He's not stepping away from that power. He loves it.
Well, if he does that, he's a shrewd politician, because he's building a stage for his successor, who is still young and vibrant, not like the previous regime.
Yep. So, speaking with the president,
Marty's only 68, sorry.
just a pup.
No, not just a pup, but he's 68. I thought he was a lot older than that.
Okay, keeping with the president. What's with the Democrats in Congress raising the issue of illegal orders from the chain of command? Did anybody hear about that?
Yes, I
Yes.
did. Throw them in, he says, President Trump says, if you don't want to follow my orders, throw them in jail. So now we're going to have troops arresting people, and that'll be on News Center 5 tonight at 5. The Democratic
Could you
TV
explain
station,
that, please?
as is Channel 4.
Say again, Fru?
Could you explain what you just said?
The Uniform Code of Military Justice, UCMJ, says that illegal orders that would cause you to commit a war crime, for instance, are not to be obeyed. And of course, that's sort of a shifting sands. In 1943, 617 Squadron, the Dam Busters, were heroes for breaching a bunch of German dams. Whoops, what does this say?
How about the real estate people won't call it a master suite anymore? Society is off its rocker.
Yeah.
What do you call it if it's not the master suite?
Main bedroom?
Okay.
The main bedroom, is that the one close north? Is that the northern bedroom?
Well, in my house it is.
My main bedroom is up on the coast in Maine.
It should be the northeast bedroom.
Yes, unfortunately, my house is oriented north-south.
So's mine. You're in the north right now, Cliff.
Yeah.
I'm in the southwest.
No.
Yes, I am.
If I'm in the north, how can you be in the south? You're in the west.
Because I'm south of you in the west.
We're oriented about
West
100 degrees
West
different.
is that way. No, I'm sorry. South is that way.
Yes.
So I'm in the west. The Wild West.
So, but in 1966,
And I got to set up
it
Facebook.
was illegal to bomb dams. In fact, just over the border in North Vietnam, there was a dam, and the Air Force had a no-fly zone around it to make sure no one accidentally bombed it. So these things do change from time to time. I suspect that, it's a good chance to take a kick at Donald Trump, and then there's the question of, is it legal to bomb drug runner boats in the Gulf of America?
Depends on what party you are. That's a party question.
You know, on that issue, I guess I'm out there, but do you know how many young people have died from fentanyl? It's about time someone had the nerve to stop it from coming in. You got to stop it somewhere, and you might as well stop it on the ocean. I'm waiting for the environmentalists to come up with, what about all that fentanyl's effect on fish?
Cliff?
Yes?
Well, the same speaker, I beg to strongly disagree with him. We are watching the media. The media makes the news. They do everything to us. That is the same thing that they said there was uranium in Mali, and that they said there was a nuclear bomb and went and destroyed Libya, went and destroyed everywhere. Why are we buying this narrative? The person who has just spoken, that is the sentiment that it drives us into all this, because he who says that is the person who has the message. They have the media, they control the media, they sell it to us. If you see, I was watching a documentary and a debate of what the Venezuelans are doing now within their community activism, that this is a provocation to get to war to destroy them. So they stand solely by them. Then we will be here and saying that we have to stop it in the ocean. We who are speaking here, are you there? You are just watching the camera that they are showing you. If you hold the camera, you know the angle to point to support whatever you are saying. I think we should be a little bit very, very critical, and those are things that takes the country down the drain, and we are being hated around the world.
Now, on the one hand, I absolutely agree with you about how the media seems to follow some sort of party line. I mean, going into Libya was stupid.
Even in Iraq, they say uranium from Mali. Did we find it? Did we find it? We have a very short memory. Do you remember Colonel General Power?
Thanks very much.
Secretary of State? Making humiliation out of himself, and he regretted later on.
I'm sorry, I missed the middle part of that argument. It was
No, I'm
somebody else.
saying that in Iraq they said there is weapons of mass destruction. At the UN, our Secretary of State,
Yes,
Colin Powell, stood up and testified and as if it was the truth, but it later on became just a fabrication.
yeah, in the back of my mind, I've wondered why Saddam Hussein didn't have chemical weapons to use, which would qualify as weapons of mass destruction. But yes, Colin Powell testified, and then it was repudiated later. Not good. So, but I think I agree with Ralph about the fentanyl being used to kill millions of people over years. Personally, I think fentanyl is China's revenge for the century of humiliation from, 1830 something until about 1947, 48, in which the European nations,
Didn't they flood China with cocaine?
they did.
Yeah, when it benefits the way, you remember the Opium War? When the Europeans were shipping it out to China, they were crying. It was a profitable business. I think we should look at it from the point of view of capitalism. When money is coming in, it is a good business. Regardless if it is destroying the other world. That is what happened around 1812 with the Opium War.
Yeah. So,
People don't follow history, and they just talk narrowly.
that's true. So,
Would you agree, Cliff, that we have a bad habit of not paying attention to history?
yes,
And history has shown if you ignore it, it'll recur again.
that's true. So, but should the Congress critters be encouraging service members to ignore what the president is doing? I mean, why don't they just pass a resolution? That right now they're just fomenting dissent, and the next time the Democrats are in control, it'll come back and bite them, I think.
It's way too much animosity. It's not good for the country or the society as a whole.
Yep. So there was a Pew Research poll that I saw over the weekend, what they called an alarming trend among high school seniors. Girls interested in marriage is plummeting at stunning rates. And then their propaganda that civilization is only as healthy as the families that make it up. So what we have is, if you have a whole generation that loses interest in traditional families, a lot of other things could go south with that. Only 61% of 12th grade high school girls intend to get married someday. That's a 22% drop from 1993. And 12th grade boys stayed about the same. 74% expressed expectation for future marriage. So, what do you think about that, Eileen?
How did I know that question was coming to me?
Because you haven't been participating.
She's curling her hair.
Well, if I knew I was supposed to date to marry, then I wouldn't date who I dated in my life. How's that? You everyone saying I'm going to date to marry, and I'm like, that's what I missed out on.
Yeah? Well, do you think marriage is important?
Yes, I do.
It sounds like
I think
she's in favor of arranged marriages.
Well, that would have worked out better for me also, Ralph. If somebody knew what was right for me and didn't allow me to be in charge of it, then I may have done better in the marriage department.
She could be a princess or something over there in England.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe that's what my calling is. Actually, I'm in the wrong country.
That could
Yeah.
be. So, speaking of being in the wrong country, New York City Mayor-elect Zoran Mahoney declared that New York is a city of international law, which is about being willing to arrest Bibi Netanyahu and turn him over to the International Criminal Court. I think that's pretty insane. And I'm pretty sure New York is a American city under U.S. law, and putting international law above the Constitution and American law is insurrection, I think. Should Mayor-elect Mahoney be thinking about nabbing Bibi Netanyahu if he shows up at the UN to try and negotiate peace?
How about improving the safety on the metro? I mean, keep it local.
Well, that'd be good. Except Chicago seems to be the one with the trouble.
No,
So-
New York is not
New
safe.
York's no bargain.
New York is not safe. If you're weird, don't even, I tell my lady friends, don't even take your pocketbook. No hanging jewelry, take all your rings off, take your watch off. Why? Well, if you don't take it off, somebody's gonna steal it on you. It's temptation.
Society's in trouble.
Shouldn't be that way. Well, that's how it is in New York City, sorry.
Yes, Cliff. When the other leaders were running for election, they said certain things. When they enter office, they implement it. Did Mandani say this when he was running for election? And did the New Yorkers elected him? I think you see the trend in the world is moving against the few who control the world. The two most important cities in the world are governed by Muslim leaders. New York is one. Which is the other one? Let me throw this question to our panelists.
Oh, I know the answer to this. London.
London, right? Because the media and most of our panelists, they follow exactly what is going on because they have inflamed and framed the situation because to follow a wrong way. But New York City this year proved them wrong. And no matter how we sugarcoat it or not, the New Yorkers, they know better. And the majority chose who they think that can govern them and make their city move forward. So whatever he does now, it's not that he's doing it now, but he said it on the campaign trail. So let us get that.
Hey, Cliff, in your notes, do you have anything about Belinda?
She won.
That was a question.
Yes.
So it's in your notes.
Yeah.
Understood.
Well, at least in my mind, it's in my notes. Haven't gotten there yet. Second hour kind of thing.
Well, I just didn't want to bother your throttling up of the topics this morning.
Cliff?
Imran Khan, right?
Yes. Cliff, I just have a question. There is a very, very important event going on around the world where all major leaders of the world are going on. I thought you were really, did you just overlook at it or it is not important because it's not being held here?
I ignored it because I read some headline that said it was a flop, And it's sort of embarrassing. We're cutting down old growth rainforest in the Amazon to stage this climate change meeting. It's
No, it was a G20, not a G climate meeting. The G20 is holding where? And almost all the major leaders in the world are gathering there. I thought that is something that you would think that it is important to bring. So we selectively, I don't know.
You're right, I've neglected that. I was next sequencing in peace what's going on in Ukraine and how are we proceeding in the Middle East.
But you know that our country is not represented there. That's the only major power that's not represented in South Africa. And that has ramifications because Russia, China, India, Brazil, France, Britain, all over, Japan, you name it, they were present in South Africa. And who is the president of the G20 now?
I don't know. Who is?
The leadership is coming home to the U.S.
Yeah, doesn't President Trump have some little spat going with South Africa?
Well, that was because the few renegade South Africans, they wanted to use it in a racial issue, saying that there's discrimination against the white. You should equally read what the manifesto that the white Afrikaner in South Africa wrote, that the White House should not use them for their political gains at home. That they are not, there's no racial or discrimination of white minority in South Africa. That is from the Afrikaners, a manifesto that they wrote a letter to the White House.
Yeah. So at the same time, in Congress, there's a little bit of upset about what's going on in Nigeria. A couple hundred school kids have been kidnapped, and
Numerous murders.
yeah.
The Christians are under siege.
Well, but that's one thing. We cannot take care of our own. We go abroad so that we make people think of what is happening abroad, not what is happening under our nose.
There's a certain amount of that, yeah. But I'm not sure what the solution is for Nigeria. I mean, it's a huge country, right?
Yeah, Nigeria is huge than Europe. The whole of Europe put into Nigeria. Nigeria, the population, we are only more than Nigeria, about 30 million or so. That's one small country. That's only one country in Africa. Their population is about 275 million.
Yeah. And they do have resources. That
Well, you know, any country in Africa that has resources, the West will always find something to blame them of not living up to expectation. But when you look the companies that are in those countries destroying the vegetation, extracting the mineral resources, no infrastructure, no healthcare, those companies come from the West, and that's the irony of whatever is going on. When you listen to the media, they will never tell you that the people who are actually inflicting those misery are Western companies.
Yep. Okay. So we have yes, we have the meetings trying to bring peace to Ukraine. The president's been working on this. I think he's a little frustrated.
Oh, yes.
And do we think that we're finally going to get peace in Ukraine? Is Russia going to be happy to have just part of the cookie and not the whole cookie?
That's a tough question. I mean, they got to give away, they invade, they take the breadbasket of Europe, and they're not satisfied. I don't know. I mean, I think Europe was late to the parade. They should have been up there a lot sooner, front and center. It's their breadbasket.
My out there solution is that the Russian invasion of Ukraine is a violation of the Budapest Agreement, under which Ukraine gave up its nuclear weapons. And since that agreement was violated, maybe the solution is we give Ukraine some nuclear weapons.
That would be interesting, because dear Vladimir would flip out.
I think he would.
But that's the type of radical approach that will stop him.
Well, Cliff, that's a very good suggestion. And if I may remind you, why Ukraine? In Libya, they went there, Libyans gave their nuclear aspirations. All the other countries, they went there, we went there and formed them. Wherever we go and do it, it is fine. And look at the whole continent of Africa, that's 1.5 billion. Combine the whole of US and Europe. They don't have the nuclear weapons. You are talking to go and give guns to Ukraine next to Russia, because we like gunboat diplomacy. When other countries give up their nuclear weapons, what do we do to them?
Yeah, I got some text I'm going to read to you.
Oh, okay.
And
I'm following up on that, Fru. Go ahead.
first one says, unfortunately, when it comes to drugs in society, you have to clean up the corruption first. Too many people on the take. Drugs, dirty business. That's from Jay. And I got two more I can't communicate to the screen. The orange guy told us he was going to end all wars in one day. Second text, where is Michelle Obama? Remember, bring back our girls. That's all the text. Back to you guys.
Okay. I think that when we attacked Libya after they gave up their nuclear capability, that it sent a very strong signal to the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un that you never give up your nuclear weapons. And
whose bright idea was that?
Hillary?
To attack?
Hillary? I think Hillary is the one that gave it the go sign. Go ahead, Fru.
No, I'm saying that we are so hypocritical in what we do. We will do everything to defend Europe. But when it comes to other countries, we always speak with the other side of our mouth and close whatever atrocity they do. Look at the atrocity that the Europeans are doing in Africa. We have never imposed any sanction on any of them. Do you think that the world is not saying that? Is why there is global, the global South are rallying together with their population, with their resources, and things cannot be again the same. If you see what came out of South Africa and how South Africa stood and defended themselves, that without us going there, the G20 will still go on. But we turned it from the G20 to the G100 because South Africa invited many other people. South Africa is a nation that has seen a lot, and they preach Ubuntu. That means bringing everyone in as a fold. So we dilute. We didn't like that because only the few will sit at the table, and then make the whole world the food to eat.
Okay.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Ask Fru, what country over in Africa can we lend money to that won't be stolen by the government officials?
What was the question, please?
What country or countries in Africa can we lend money to that
The government.
government officials won't be skimming the money off?
We don't need to lend the money to any country in Africa because every country in Africa has the resources to stand on their own. Whatever money we lend to Africa, if we lend $100, we get $10,000 in return for resources and everything. So when you tell me which country, we impose, we choose the leaders, the corrupt leaders, because they will back and cover their eyes on whatever we do out there. But our media will never cover that. Our media makes as if we are the good Samaritan going there to give something. Never. If you know and if you are reading and understand that in terms of our economic system, capitalism will not give you something for free.
Yeah. I wonder.
The only thing that capitalism gave for free was the Grand Marshal in Germany after the war and Japan. They don't give anything to Africa for free.
Yeah. Well, the purpose of the Marshall Plan was not so much to give free money to Europe, but is to provide a economic basis for them to generate their own capital.
Can we move on to Ukraine for a second? Last week they talked about all the money Ukraine officials had stolen from the war money. And here we are, let's send them more money this week. What the hell's the matter with our media? They can't remember what they reported last week. That the Ukrainian officials are corrupt and they're stealing money from the war fund. And Orange Man, let's send them more money. What the hell's the matter with the situation?
Well, I think President Trump would rather give them money than put U.S. boots on the ground.
Why don't we just walk away?
That's the choice. I would
The hell
have to
with
say
them.
that's a good choice.
The hell with them.
Corruption is running amok.
The hell with them. Goodbye. Good luck. God bless.
My theory is, what's the matter with Europe? Why aren't they stepping up? It's their backyard.
That's a very good question. I will ask you the same with you. That's very true.
Thank you.
Because if you ask Europe and look at France, how many governments have fallen in France? Because they are in economic turmoil now because the Sahel states, they have kicked France out of them. France was getting uranium from Niger, selling it in the world market at $200 per whatever, but giving only $1 to the Nigerian government. And that is what you would say that they will go to Africa and give loans. When Niger kicked them out, you saw there are now electrical blackouts in France, and almost 3 governments are fallen. But the West will not talk about that. They will not talk about those instability because they control the media.
Yeah. The French government is in trouble.
Yeah, they can't protect the Louvre.
Yeah. So, Gaza,
That's the truth.
the Israeli government assassinated some Hamas chief of staff in Lebanon last week, and Hamas said, "Oh, that's an unacceptable act." I don't know. Are we going to get peace? Is Hamas going to find a path with Netanyahu to bring this thing to a conclusion? Does Hamas have to be totally disarmed? Will they accept that?
Well, the Holocaust that's happening in Gaza is terrible. And the media won't call it a Holocaust. They're executing the other people. That's it. When I hear the reports they killed 23 kids over the weekend, where's the Orange Man?
Oh,
They've been fighting for centuries.
Each side is told when they get the smack in their bottom at birth, they say, you know who did that? The Gazans just slapped you in the behind. And the Gazans tell their kids, the Israelis just slapped her in the behind. And don't you forget that. Terrible.
It's a septic system.
They're born into hatred.
Yeah.
Okie dokie, we're getting up on the break, John?
You got a minute.
Have a
I got
good
2
week.
checks I'm going to blow away here.
Okay, say it, Fru.
Thank you. Have a good week, everybody.
Okay,
You
thank
too, Fru. Have a good day. Have a good rest of the week. Enjoy
Thank you, bye.
Thanksgiving with family and friends.
Yeah.
Happy
I appreciate
Thanksgiving.
that. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Fru. Okay, 2 more checks, then we're going to go to break land. Don't forget about the open checkbook that Zelensky had from the last administration. Good point. There's no difference between Africa and America when it comes to politicians stealing. There's 38 trillion, ring a bell. Good point. Hey, we're going to be back going to break land. Put some music on.
So, welcome to the City Life Show. I'm Cliff Krieger, your host. Eileen Delrossi is on the phone, I think. Are you there, Eileen?
Yes, I'm still here. I was just enjoying listening to you guys go back and forth.
And we have Mike Smith down in Florida. We have Ralph
Good
Hogan.
morning, everybody.
And with Ralph, we're going to do a little school talking here in a little bit. And, of course, we have our producer, John McDonough.
I just want to say it's up to 33 degrees, and it's still windy out there, so drive little Cliff to school today. Cliff wants you to send your kid off to school in short sleeves and short pants, but that's Cliff.
I didn't say short sleeves and short.
Drive your kid to school today. Thanks.
Nah. So,
Cliff's walking home today. Are
Are
you walking home today, Cliff?
No.
Why?
Because I have to be home quick to take my wife to a medical appointment down in Bedford at 9 o'clock.
Why can't she walk? Both ways uphill.
I don't know if the walker would hold up.
Did you buy her a cheap walker?
No,
Okay.
it was somebody else's walker.
Okay.
So, no show Thursday morning for Thanksgiving and no show Friday morning.
Speaking of Thanksgiving, Cliff, at a Thanksgiving Day meal, what do you make sure you put on your plate?
The stuffing.
Okay. Ralph, what do you make sure you put on the plate?
Stuffing and sweet potatoes.
Okay. Michael, what do you put on your plate Thanksgiving Day?
Oh, turkey.
Well, we're gonna we're at the clubhouse. We're going on Wednesday to help prepare some of the food. We're going to have turkey. We're going to have mashed potatoes. We're going to have sweet potatoes, probably, and stuffing. And rolls. And I'm not sure what they're doing for dessert. And they may have some green bean casserole, too.
Ah, excellent.
Eileen, what do you put on your plate?
I put turkey and some mashed potatoes, stuffing, biscuits, gravy.
Ooh, gravy.
But I totally am looking into going to the Golden Corral at some point on Thanksgiving because that menu was incredible.
Well, you can pick that one. It's your pick, you know.
Oh yeah, all the way in Manchester though.
Hey, tough. If they don't want to go, they don't want to go.
True.
It is a reach.
Good point.
It is
I
a
think my
reach.
pick's coming up soon too.
That means you got to go. This week we're going to Scola's. Scola's on Tuesday.
That's good.
Scola's would be nice. They have nice bread. I hope they still got their bread. How many restaurants skip their bread? Like we went to the delicious Jade Lowell, Ellen and I, on Saturday, and it was out of this world delicious. And it's like Old Home Week. You run into 1,000 people that you know, same time, and no bread.
The
Meanwhile,
other thing I noticed, John, people of our age watching their diet, what happened to wheat bread? It's a better bread product than white. And
I'll settle for any bread.
Okay.
Rolls, anything. But they don't put it on the table no more. But
You have to
Manja out in Billerica Center, the bread's bountiful and absolutely delicious. Manja, Billerica Center. Back over to you, Cliff.
Okay, so on Friday last, in the mayor's reception room, the election commissioners, Linda Clark, Candace Lawrence, James Pope, and Chairman William Murphy, gathered to do a recount in District 3, Belinda Duran and Dan Finn. The end result was the same. Belinda Duran won by 10 votes.
She won by 11.
And at one point, it was 11, but then one ballot was disqualified as a duplicate. So the result was the same.
You know more than I do, but I got all my information off the internet.
That explains a lot.
Where'd you get your information?
I talked to Will
A secret source
in the bread aisle.
in the bread aisle. You got your source in the bread aisle. All righty.
Yeah, the guy that runs the election office.
In the bread
Nice
aisle.
guy.
What bread aisle? There's Belinda. Let me put her up on the screen there. Come on, baby. Okay, there she is. There's Belinda. Congratulations, Belinda. You won. And she won by 11 votes. 1149 to Dan Finn's 1138.
So you can disregard the internet surfer on this 10.
Okay. She won, correct.
She won.
All right. Thank you. Congratulations.
Now, will she be the deciding vote on who's the mayor?
Could
The
be.
mayor thing is still out there. I talked to Danny Rourke via text, and I says, Danny, you all set for the mayor thing? He says, no, still lacking votes.
I might be right, huh?
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to get it, Ralph?
No idea. I mean,
Well, what do you mean I might be right? What did you mean by that?
I think that young lady that just won that election, Belinda, is probably the deciding vote.
May very well be.
The election showed that there was a certain amount of unhappiness on the part of the voters. The District 3, the incumbent lost. I mean, I thought he was doing a pretty good job. I felt he was a responsive city councilor. But the voters voted it down to Belinda Duran and Dan Finn, and then they voted for Belinda. So,
I hate to be simplistic, but these elections are nothing more than marbles. I mean, when we were kids, we played marbles. And whoever got the most marbles into the hole won. I mean, there is a faction that is better at getting the marbles and getting the voters motivated to go to the polls and execute. And that's the change. If you look at it, you dig down into it, those that were using technology, walking, door-to-door knocking, those folks did well. Explain Duran. Not Duran, Dakota.
Back up the bus. Fred Roke, I'm sorry, the texts and the instant messages are wicked slow today. I don't know why. I just sent an instant message myself and it's still not here yet. But this is from Fred Wilkie from the last hour, I believe. Is Ukraine going to give way too much to obtain peace? And how will China see this as China wants Taiwan? Will the U.S. do nothing to it if they attack Taiwan? Looking at the big picture, Russia is the big winner. Thanks, Fred. Interesting angle.
yeah.
Back to you, Cliff.
So,
If you could look up at the audience once in a while, it'd be nice.
I do. So, one of the questions I have is, with education being, at least in my mind, a big issue, why didn't more people stand up to run? Or are we giving up on education?
Politics has become a sport, Cliff. Either you enjoy this sport or you don't. Do you like basketball? Do you like rugby? Do you like golf? Politics is a sport.
I like rugby.
A lot of people don't like politics.
To some extent, I have to agree with you, John, but I served on that board, and it was a rough sport.
But you
early
like
on.
Ralph, you like politics.
Not so much.
What do you like better, golf or politics?
Basketball.
That wasn't in the.
Unfortunately, life is full of politics in one way or another.
True. So, I mean, how are we doing school-wise? How do we do on the MCAS? Eileen, you got any thoughts?
Mr. Producer, could you key up the slides we presented?
Yeah.
Basically, if you're asking about the assessment from DESE, the State Department of Education, the Vote School has done an amazing job in the last few years. And when John locates the charts, we'll go on a little further. But to interject and fill some time, and John's always pushing for math and business and personal finance in education. The UN sponsors a program to instill business and environmental skills in high school kids. They had a conference at UMass Lowell. I believe we were one of the few technical schools that participated. Most of the schools have a program under this UN umbrella in the school system on a bi-weekly, weekly basis or whatever, and they build and put together these programs that highlight environment, business, finance, so on and so forth. So for a week up at UMass, they had a program, and it was basically to set up an urban farm to improve food security, help the inner city, and it was a hydroponic type situation. So it wasn't just, throw some seeds in the grass and grow and so on and so forth. It was a little bit more technical with hydroponics and watering and growing food. our kids did exceptionally well. And our program is only a club. It's after school. It's not in the curriculum. So yeah, it's offered. There was about, I don't know, eight, 9 kids involved, maybe 10, and they did an exceptional job. I didn't bring that, but I'll have to get that program because it's worth looking at. Those kids did a phenomenal job, and it basically teaches them all the skills that John has referred to, plus an environmental component. And for a technical school that does not integrate that type of material into their curriculum, it was very impressive that we did that well. 2 first place and a runner-up.
And Ralph,
So-
I'll be happy to put them up when texts begin to work again. Texts aren't working on my computer, and so right now I'm trying to work around on it. But on the other side of the block here, the federal police in Brazil are arresting President Jair Bolsonaro. So, troubles are happening in Brazil.
That's not good.
It was predicted.
And what's the other country that's in trouble down there? Venezuela?
Yep.
That's not good.
So, Eileen, you went to that conference on how we're going to assess students. Can you give us a quick recapitulation?
Yeah, it seems like a lot of people wanted more of a portfolio assessment, accountability in terms of a portfolio over time, kind of like the MCAS alt. It seems like each table had somebody driving the conversation in a certain way also. So there's a greater idea out there by the state to see this happen. But I don't think Massachusetts really has a clue in how to do this, tell you the truth or pull it together. As, you know, I'm happy for the Voc. The Voc is a high school. You know what I mean? I think that's one demographic. I also give you props for, having a UN type of club activity instead of taking a whole city and becoming a UN sister city, you know what I mean, and spending $500,000 like our city did. So I think starting small is kind of better than starting big game. But I think at the end of the day that nobody's looking at what's actually working for the students K through 8, pre-K through 8 in the city, unfortunately. And that's where we're losing a great deal of traction in test scores in Massachusetts. I mean, no scores in Massachusetts were very great. Were incredible. They just kind of moved to like the next category that it could. But no one was doing anything gravitational, I guess. And then when you look at, does the MCAS align with the curriculum? I mean, it doesn't really, in what we're teaching every day and what teachers get slowed down by teaching because of behaviors. And so, yeah, at the end of the day, I think there's a lot of pieces to it. And, certain people want things to count that I don't know if they should. They want accountability. They want a portfolio. But yet they don't want to be accountable for absenteeism. I know that happened at one of the tables. They want an excuse for all the absenteeism, and kids to have a reason. I don't think I have a really good answer to any of this. I do think education should be declared a public health crisis at this point because nobody really knows besides the teachers on the front lines, the government officials, politicians, nobody knows what's right. And money's going out to these curriculums that cost a lot of money, and we're not seeing the progress with our students.
Well, let's see what Ralph has on the screen.
Eileen, I agree with what you're saying
Can we talk about what's on the screen, please?
If you look at the screen, we have to follow the same basic DESE, Department of Education formula that the city does.
Okay, let's pause
But
it
this chart tells you that English and math,
Ralph,
what's going on
would
at
you
the
introduce
vote.
what we're talking about, the
Two
vote?
people
We're not
can't talk at the same time.
Okay.
Boy, oh boy, he's got a burr in his saddle.
Let's talk
Yes.
about what's
So-
on the screen.
To follow up with what Eileen is saying, I can only speak to the Greater Lowell Volk, and what we've done with those charts is basic. John, if you could key them up for 1 second.
Are you going to talk about them now?
Yes.
Okay.
It shows that the growth, during COVID, everything dropped down because school was affected, attendance, this, that, and the other thing. And the committee has made a real effort on attendance, and the administration has done a spectacular job on attendance. And it shows on this chart, our math scores have gone through the roof. And that's compared, the blue line is state, and the yellow line is Greater Lowell Tech. And, they've done a yeoman's job. I mean, spectacular. I don't have superlatives enough to explain it. But in my opinion, it goes back to attendance. There was a real effort on attendance. The administration in the last few years did a great job. You cannot educate a child unless they're in the classroom. And absenteeism and so on and so forth. There's other charts that talk about absenteeism that we have. But that, I think, is a big factor, and Eileen touched on it about attendance and absenteeism. We have at the Voc an unprecedented, 93 percentile attendance monthly. That's, hitting it out of the park. The kids enjoy going to the Greater Lowell Technical High School. There's no other explanation. You look at the charts, the math is, off the charts. They're well above the state. English, we had an issue with, COVID and everything else. It dropped. Now we're back, and we're doing well, very well. And I suggest politely to Eileen, I think its attendance is one of the key ingredients. Without the child in the seat, the teacher has no chance. It's that simple.
How about discipline?
Okay, you have to be behaved, but there's no issue out there. They want to learn.
Is there issue in Lowell Public Schools?
I can only speak to the school I deal with.
Right. And respectfully, I hear what you're saying, Ralph, but at the same time, currently, right now, the Voc has a type of process where they're able to look at kids' records and say, oh, your attendance is not strong enough to be here at the Voc, right? Your grades or your behavior is not good enough to be at the Voc. Right now, you know what I mean? Lowell, as a district, K through 12, does not have the opportunity to say that. You know what I mean? So we're dealing with all the different variables. Yes, you can take a control population such as the Voc and say, see what works. But when we essentially don't have control over it in the public school system, we're dealing with all the different variables. So it's almost like the Voc is
I
getting
got
the cream
comments
of the
from the
crop.
audience when
But
she's
I
done.
thought-
I got comments from the audience when she's done.
Go ahead.
No, that
I thought that,
The comments from the audience
state-
are as follows. We have a report card for students. Should there be a report card for teachers? It doesn't matter who won. The citizens of Lowell still pay higher taxes, a budget that will increase every year, and they blame its citizens for the problems. Last text, then going back to Cliff. It looks like Vesna, Danny have 5 votes. I think McDonough may be the vote. Back over to you, Cliff. Thank you for your patience.
I thought that the state had sort of squash down the ability of the vocational schools to select their students. That it's more of a taking care of.
Well, they're instituting next year a lottery
Yeah.
system. So,
That starts next year, Cliff.
Okay.
yeah, but to say that the only, that our results are basically we cherry pick, that's not really accurate. I mean, when you really want to boil down to is, do you want the electrician that you bring to your home to fix an electrical short circuit to know what he's doing?
Right.
And most people say yes.
And I don't think I'm sorry. I'm
Here's
gonna-
your
okay.
absenteeism. I'm telling you that part of the problem for schools in general is the student in the chair in the classroom and the teacher working with them. And the attendance, for the state, again, DESI's statistics, the Volk school is well below the norm.
But
Ralph,
aren't we
next time
dealing
you
with the
come,
fact
can you tell me what
that the
excuse the kid has to
students-
bring?
It's the Department of Education, State Department of Education.
What excuse does the kid have to bring that he took a sick day? Zero? Would you find out from your administration? What excuse, does the kid have to bring I used to have to bring a written note from my mother that I skipped school.
Well,
Well, and I want to know
for an
what
excused
your,
absence, it would be a medical note.
I don't think you know. Would you ask your
I
administration?
will get that clarified for you, John.
Thank you.
So
Over to Cliff.
with the Volk, we say that the Volk picks his students, but it's also the student is picking the Volk. And
They want to go to school at the Volk, yes.
so you have an attitudinal advantage in that the students have made a decision to pick the Volk, and I would suspect, having made that decision, want to be successful. So I don't see how the lottery will work that, except at a lower level.
It'll reduce, the ability and the abilities of the student to perform well.
I don't see that we
Right,
have.
and I don't think cherry picked is what I meant to say. Those kids at the Volk are actually working hard. Those teachers are working hard. Those test scores are legitimate. But you have the overall fundamental foundations accepting the students into the Volk at this point, that attendance is important, behavior is important, there are consequences for your actions. The basic things that are not so easily implemented in a foundational basis for a Lowell public K through 12 student, I guess, if you get what I'm saying.
Okay, Eileen, under the new proposal, it's my understanding, and I may have it off a bit, but under the new proposal, the attendance in the lower grades leading to high school is what is going to be tweaked. So, in other words, a student that goes to school 4 days a week for the whole year is eligible to go into the lottery. Now, that type of absenteeism doesn't sell in business. It doesn't sell in real life. And that's what the state is watering down. Do you understand what I'm saying? They're allowing more absenteeism under their proposal to get into the lottery.
Right,
It's
no, and
not
I
fair.
agree, and I agree 100% with what you're saying. But this is something that they're also saying, like the public schools have to deal with without any, and that's why if you look out into the workforce today, you're walking into stores with kids who are working who feel like that store is just lucky to have them as an employee, and like you're lucky that they're there, and you're the problem as the customer. I see that often, but I mean that's what they're saying, that schools like vocational schools now have to accept everybody that the public schools
Okay, yeah.
are
Comments from the audience?
have.
When and where will another vocational school be built in this area? Eventually, the greater Lowell Voc will run out of space. Second texter, what test will be used with no MCAS this year? Last text in this group, great show today. Hope everyone has a happy Thanksgiving. Spiked eggnog is a great way to keep warm and loosen the tie. Thanks, Bart. Back over to you guys.
That was an interesting question about another school. My just wag is that the state government should be developing 10 new vocational districts to provide enough seats for students to be developing their vocational activities.
Cliff,
we need vocational activities.
Why doesn't Lowell just have their own? Develop a new one? We love to give out jobs at Lowell. Tommy Golden will be so happy to have another principal he can give a job to. I think we should open our own vocational school here in Lowell. Call it. Do we have a charter vocational school?
No, not a charter, but we have a charter.
We need a charter.
Though, Cliff has a very good point. There should be more funds in schools for technical vocational education. You know.
And so make our income tax go up to 6% to pay for education? Because that's what Maura Healy.
The governor spent over $1 billion for this emergency immigration housing issue. You know, half of that would have provided a vocational school and more seats to educate the young people of our community. And I don't think anybody can argue with those figures.
I mean, yep.
It's allocation of funds.
Yep.
It's that simple.
I just wanted to, I've been listening, I wanted to add in about the vocational schools. The shortage of people to fill jobs is getting bigger and bigger because our generation are all retiring from working in the trades. And they just don't have people to fill those jobs now. And businesses and different places are trying to figure out how to get people trained to fill those jobs, whether it's for electricians, plumbers, pipe fitters, carpenters. I mean, the amount of people that have retired in the last few years and will in the next decade is going to wipe out a huge amount of skilled people if they don't get people into these vocational technical schools.
Following on that, Steubenville, Ohio has a Franciscan University. I have a grandson going there. He's enjoying it. But they have a second Franciscan University that is a vocational college. And the first year you've got to pay, but they do the 4 standards: HVAC, plumbing, electrician. What's the 4th? I don't know. But as they move into the vocational side and they take these students and put them to work, getting work experience, that money goes back into paying for their education so that at the end of it, they're not burdened with a huge debt, but they are skilled and job ready. Should we be looking for that kind of thing?
I would be open to any kind of additional education, a hybrid between core curriculum and bringing. We have one of those, as a matter of fact, the after-school program. If the student doesn't get in to the Voc, and he can go to the high school and then go out to the Voc in the afternoon. And it was a pretty successful program last year. So they're doing it again this year. So there is hybrid type programs at the Voc, but there's just not enough seats. They need additional vocational schools. There's no other way, or expand the schools significantly. The demand is there.
These jobs are paid well. Yeah, you're talking about people in these trades going with experience within probably 4 or 5 years, going through an apprenticeship. and working at jobs that have these highly needed skills, making six-figure incomes. I mean, this is, I wouldn't, and with no doubt if they go through these vocational schools, what Cliff was talking about. I mean, they make good money. My son has a college degree, and, you know, he didn't have much debt when he got out of college, and he moved to New Zealand. He went back to a vocational school to be a certified builder there, and he makes like almost a six-figure income right now. In a couple of years, he's going to be making more than that. So just, you know, you don't need a college degree to make decent money anymore. You know, these are highly sought-after jobs, to be an auto technician, to be, you know, a carpenter, to be a pipe fitter, a welder. I mean, they don't have robots to replace all that. So,
Yeah, especially in the electronic industry, you know, in my lifetime from the 70s to today, I mean, we've seen offshoring of all technical and electrical type assembly and computer manufacturing. You know, it left this country and the jobs left.
And I mean, I made decent money and retired. You know, I could retire and be okay. And from working at Eastman Kodak Company, I mean, I wasn't making a six-figure income, but at the time it was a good income. So, I mean, these jobs are needed and they're paying for them.
Yeah, but my point was that, you know, there are different technologies that they offshored and a lot of people lost employment. Whereas with the service industry, you know, electrical, hairdressing, anything that is hands-on and personal, those jobs stay and they're ongoing and they're needed. In Boston, they're crying for plumbers to build those skyrises. They need a master plumber every 6 or 7 stories, and they can't. They're having a hard time getting them because of what you know. The Micah said that people are retiring. People our age are dropping off.
Yeah, I think maybe part of this is we don't know what the opportunities are. When I was in high school, one of the places I applied for college was Webb Institute in Glen Cove, New York. Tuition, zip. But it was 24 months a year.
24 months a year?
I'm sorry, 12 months a year. I'm sure it seemed like 24 to the students. But they graduated with a degree in naval architecture and a degree in marine engineering. In the summer, they worked for as an intern in some shipyard somewhere. I mean, this was an ideal opportunity. And the Navy was happy enough to send you to Officer Candidate School and give you a commission. I don't know if Webb Institute is still around, but in 1960, it was basically free. And
the apprentice programs are 12 months a year, and they include both schoolwork and working for somebody, so you can earn money. I mean, that's the way you get the hands-on plus the school. And when I went through mine in the mid-'80s, we started taking college courses to supplement the hands-on stuff that the company sent us to. So, like you were saying, it can be a hybrid where there's some college courses taught along with the other hands-on items.
Employers, you know, aren't demanding or seeking college-educated tradesmen. They just want basic knowledge and they'll bring them along. You take a kid that's an electrician or a plumber, they get out of the voc school, they do a couple of years with a company installing or whatever equipment. They can go out on their own and start their own business, or they will excel and be over 100,000 very quickly. It's amazing.
Yeah, Kathy's grandson here in Florida started working for a company that did different stuff for, like commercial freezers and all that. And he was working in the shop, and they were teaching him. And now I guess he's starting to go out on calls because they've been training him. And he makes decent money doing that.
Excellent money. Up here in New England, Mike, it would be heating more so than air conditioning. Down in Florida, it's definitely air conditioning. And nobody wants to go through July without AC in Florida.
Yeah.
So the demand is there.
So, trying to build on what we've been discussing, would Lowell Public Schools be better off if we divided it in half, in 1/3, 2/3, where you apply to go to the Lowell Academic High School, and you have to pass somewhat the same kind of criteria as you do for Lowell Tech, and the other kids are just in there enjoying themselves and getting a high school diploma, but the ones that are serious are the ones who volunteered for the hard course. Would that be of value?
It's definitely worth exploring. I believe the school committee should be looking at it. I think that's been suggested to some degree. But again, DESE comes in, Department of Education. They don't allow funding in two districts for the same technical discipline. They say they're the experts, but I'm telling you, they confuse things more than solve problems.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add in, we don't want to get the thinking that just because they're going to trade school, they don't have to be as smart. You have to be able to read and understand a lot of stuff. You have to know about certifications. You have to have math skills. So, they still have to go through quite a bit to get into the trades or to get through an apprenticeship.
Mike, you couldn't have hit a better home run, because you got to read the electronic schematics. You got to have algebra and math skills to troubleshoot circuits on a heating or cooling system. It's not a cakewalk. You got to get the basics in. And when I was first on this board, they brought in MCAST, and there was a huge movement not to have MCAST affect vocational technical high schools. They were against it. And, they said, we don't have the same curriculum, we don't have the same issues that regular high schools have, and it's unfair to test our students on math that they're not exposed to. And this is a true story. I sat down and talked to the superintendent at the time, and I explained, if you're building a home and you're putting in a set of stairs, you're using the same math algebraic formulas, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, to get the angle and the pitch and the slope. Carpenters, the rise and the run. It's the same. In a roof, the same thing. To get the angle and slope of a roof, it's the same thing, except it's a construction term. And I said, as soon as you equate the algebraic pure math formulas to the construction formulas, you're going to be teaching the kids the same math that's on the MCAS test. It's just the terminology. And, she thought about it and eventually realized that that's true. She spoke to the frontline carpentry and mechanical teachers, and that we can change terminology and teach the same math. She then went to the superintendent's association, gave a speech, and got an award because they bought into the MCAS program by changing the technology and terms that we used. And I know it sounds silly, but math is math. Numbers are numbers. Slope is slope. It's basic.
It is.
Yep. Yeah, well, that's why I wanted to make sure that we didn't lose sight that just because you're going, it used to be like, oh, you had to go to vocational school because you weren't smart enough. That's entirely untrue. It's you got to know all that stuff, and you got government regulations. If you're doing HVAC, you have to take certification courses and renew them, because there's all kinds of government regulations when you're handling refrigerant and other stuff like that. I mean, same thing with electronics or electricians or pipe fitting. There's all kinds of government regulations you got to be aware of and do things a certain way.
Absolutely. I mean, you're 100%. And let me just tell you, Mike, that kids that go to a vocational school anywhere, MIT is thrilled to have those kids come to their university. And the reason, they have hands-on experience. And they find that their best engineers and best scientists do well with hands-on education. And I mean, I read that in an article. I was quite impressed. And we do have a couple of kids going to MIT. I mean, I can't say enough about the staff and what they're doing, and the administration tweaking and adjusting the approach and giving the staff everything they need to bring these numbers that were on the screen. Our math numbers are through the roof, and the kids are in the seat. The teachers do their job. You get results like we're seeing from Desi.
The producer, we've lost the producer.
We have announcements. You want an announcement on the show? Easy thing to do. Send me a text, call my cell phone, whatever you want to do, be happy to put it out there. City of Lights parking restrictions, that's November 29th. Coming up pretty soon. And downtown Lowell, be careful where you park, you're going to tow your car. So take a look at this, and if you're working to organize, or you have a kiddo marching in the parade, or you plan on going, you got to be mindful of where you cannot park. So moving right along, today in the senior center, today's the 24th. So if you go out to the Chensford Senior Center, you're going to get Asian pork rice, mixed vegetables, and peaches. And if you go out to Drake or Tewksbury, both you need to have a reservation. Don't go out there cold turkey. They won't have any food for you. What you have to do is you have to call Drake and Tewksbury a week before. Yep, that's 7 days. And tell them you want the $2 lunch, and they'll have it for you. If you don't register, you can't have it. But if you have registered, today at Tewksbury Drake, you have a cheese omelet, turkey sausage, polenta green beans, tomato, fruit loaf, and yogurt. Moving right along here, in lovely Lowell, we have 7 days a week lunch here. We won't be having lunch this Thanksgiving Day because we're closed because it's a holiday. We, meaning the city of Lowell. I used to be on the board over there, but they kicked me off. So today being the 24th, they'll have lemon pepper chicken. That's today's lunch over at the Lowell Senior Center. Go over there around 10:30, see Tara, and she'll give you a ticket. There's a box there you put your donation in. If you don't have the money, it's free. If you want to retire your flag, the city of Lowell has a site, first floor, I'm sorry, the floor where the tax collector is, and the city clerk is. Go in there, you'll find this metal box, slip your flag in here, and they will retire it properly for you. Steve Giatakis is having a get-together. He does this every year. This is the 29th year. The Sunset Fund, and it's all about the kids. It's going to be Friday, December 5th. Sorry, 5:30 to 8 p.m. at the Blue Shamrock. So show up with a toy, show up with a check. If you can't mail it to Stevie Giatakis' office up on, I think it's on Parker Street up on the Highlands. So happy to help out the kids. St. Michael's. Shrink this up a little bit. This is always a great fair they have out St. Mike's. Saturday, December 6th, 10 to 3 p.m., free admission, St. Michael's Hall, 12th 6th Street. It's in there. The Lower Church, the Holly Fair returns. There's a bunch of great stuff there. So consider going to this on December 6th. It's free admission, free parking. If you have questions, just call Pauline. Her phone number's down there. Also, her email. Holiday Prelude. The Chelmsford. Yeah, you guys can see this all day. Join us for the annual Chelmsford Holiday Prelude, December 7th, 4 to 6 p.m. It's tree lighting included in Town Center. Great time. If you want a hot chocolate, I think the hot chocolate's even free. So admission to most of these events are free. Donations are appreciated. So be there or be square on December 7th, 4 to 6 p.m. on the Town Common Town Center. Rodney Young's having a party, a kickoff party for his campaign for state senate, Thursday, December 11th, 5:30 to 7 p.m. at the Worthen House Cafe, 141 Worthen Street in downtown Lowell. All donations greatly appreciated. You can contribute online, so go take your fancy phone, take a picture of this screen, and you can send him a donation online if you like to. And that's my last one, Cliff. Thank you for your patience.
That's a great idea. Take a picture of that.
Yeah, if you don't remember the line, quick, just take a picture.
So, in local news, the city council voted unanimously to sell the Smith Baker Center to the Lowell Center for the Arts. 141-year-old building with great acoustics. This seems like a great opportunity, but it's not going to happen overnight. They're talking about months to rehabilitate it and get it into shape. I think it's great that we're able to save an historic building.
How much are they paying and how long do they have to fix it up?
I didn't find that in the article.
Those are very important things because they're going to sit
Somewhere
on that
around
like,
400 grand, I think.
like a golden egg and nothing's going to happen. Like we sat on so many projects, they don't have a deadline on this. The city council is foolish to pass this with no deadline.
It's been sitting there a long time.
Like they're going to auction off the courthouse down the street here. They're going to auction it off. Nobody wants it, so there's going to be a big auction, and they'll just tell their friends about it. But there's an auction coming up, and you could just buy the Superior Courthouse if you
I
want.
thought the state had it.
State has it. They're going to have an auction for it.
So when you say an auction, is it public or is it to?
Oh, it's public, but they won't tell you where it is or what's going to happen. Come on, Ralph. This is
State
Lowell.
where? Well, state
This is-
procurement said that it has to be offered to all state agencies, governments first before it can be auctioned.
You can say whatever you want, Ralph. The state does what they want to do.
I'm just amazed that no agency or government sees the value in that property.
They do. It's just unable to fix it because of handicap accessibility issues.
It's a prime property. It's downtown.
That's one of the things. It's going to take 15 months to get the Smith Baker Center up and operating is handicap accessibility.
Also expensive.
Yeah. So.
I got a bunch of texts here,
Oh, okay.
and I'll put them up on screen as you guys are watching here. Take you guys can sip your brew over there. I'll read them because they're a little small. Okay, so when and where will another vocational school be built in this area? Eventually, the greater Lowell Voc will run out of space. I think I'm reading that for the second time. Okay.
John, may I interject? We just added classrooms, approximately 8. It came in on time and under budget at the Voc.
Where is the waterfront Stephen Panagiotakis Educational Center?
That would be a good.
That's what you should do. A waterfront Steve Panagiotakis
I like
Educational Center. Next text. The problem with the building a vocational school in Lowell is that it would be another project over budget. Just look at the high school. Very good point, Jay. This next text was, unfortunately, kids nowadays are snowflakes and can't stand a boss, especially construction trades, yelling at them. And I got a good point there. I've yelled at a few of my employees, and I just said, hey, look, can you wear a tie? And they tell me they got yelled at. The MCAS test. will be used, but the passage of the test is not a graduation requirement. So here's a test that doesn't count. I don't think the
They're
kids.
modifying now, they're coming up with a new test.
Well, I think it should, will it be, never mind, that's another issue. The problem with building vocational schools in Lowell is that it would be another, I'm reading that thing a second time. Okay, back to you guys. Thank you for your patience. Oh, wait
So
a
I
second.
don't know
Wait,
if
let me just do this
you
quick.
guys are.
Over the
Oh, I'm
weekend,
sorry.
Stand by.
over the weekend, they had this great event, and there's pictures that go with it of the Centerville Community Gathering. They got a bunch of food together and a bunch of pictures put together. And so I got a lot of smiles when I looked at all this good stuff. Because I didn't think Cisco was back in town, but apparently he's back in town. He's playing the music over there. But good crowd they got. They tell me this guy here, McDonough, he's the deciding vote of who's going to be the mayor. I'll call Sean if I want to go. There's Cisco, back in town from Puerto Rico. He's just having a wonderful time. It looks like he's doing his DJ bit. So good for him. And these are more pictures from Centerville. Yesterday, they had tons of food donated and a lot of smiles going out of there. There's Eric Gitchia. Good time had by y'all. So running short on time, kids. Back over to you guys. Thank you.
Since next year is the 200th anniversary, the city's got some funds to make available to the neighborhoods to do block parties and things like that. You need to reach out to, I think it's, well, now I'm confused. I was going to say Christy Hogan, but you're Hogan.
Christy Hogan is coordinating the bicentennial.
Oh, okay. Is she related to you?
Of course.
Oh. So, yeah, reach out to her. They're putting up a webpage and get a little help to help celebrate our 200th anniversary. It'll be officially 1 March. We'll celebrate it on 28 February. So, as long as they don't do a land acknowledgement, it'll be super. Just my opinion. That I saw where the Education Center Secretary in the administration down in Washington, Linda McMahon, calls on Congress to codify hard reset at the Education Department. She went on to speak about the announcement this week of 6 interagency deals between Department of Education and other federal agencies, Department of Labor and Health, Human Services, Interior, and state moving entities such as the Office of Elementary and Secondary Education is going to labor in the Indian Education Program has moved to Interior. So it looks to me like the Trump administration is charging forward in disestablishing the Department of Education.
Looks that way.
Which I hope will save money.
Send it to the Merrimack Valley.
Yeah. Eileen, you have any thoughts you'd like to leave us with?
Well, what I wanted to say is that Fred Bahu does have a motion in regards to Chapter 74 for the high school level that I know is coming together. So I don't know if that would be more of like the academic vocational, like let's be serious if you want to work 5 days a week type of program. I don't know enough about it. Like I can't visualize it to explain it. So next time we have him on, we're going to have him explain that better. In terms of Linda McMahon's announcement and on Friday or last Thursday in regards to no longer having the federal Department of Education and letting the states run it. I think it could only be more helpful. I do worry about the money because a lot of the money did come from the federal state Department of Education. So I wonder how that's all going to shift over going forward.
Okay.
But what if we get rid of the federal Department of Education? What's going to happen to everyone that owes the student loans to the federal Department of Education?
They'll find a way.
Got some text here I'm going to read to you. Of course, it's not in the article. We got 60 seconds left, so I got to fly it. Of course, not in the article. The Baker Center should have been torn down. There are enough old, dusty buildings in downtown rehab. That's from Jay. Superior Court was offered to other public agencies, no takers with money, dollar signs. DCAM will publicize the auction. Last text of the day. Great show today. Enjoy Turkey Day, Mr. Hogan. What about favorite dessert for Thanksgiving? Tomorrow we got Tommy Bomo's going to be here. Bobby Hiller's going to be here. We'll see if Cisco's back from Puerto Rico, and Karen Casello's going to be here too. So that's tomorrow's show. Time is short, Cliff.
Okie doke. Mike, you got any concluding words?
Today is National Sardines Day.
Yummy.
Slimy.
Well,
Yummy.
I wish everyone a happy and family-friendly Thanksgiving Day.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving to all.
Guys, else.
We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
It'd be nice to Karen.
See you guys. See you next Monday.